Thank you to our friends at Double XL for joining us on Danu on Fire as our sponsors. You're wondering, I like that shirt. Well, you know, fashion does not need to be restricted for those who have the perfect physique. Well, you can find fashion in every shape and size when you do visit the only and the first Sri Lankan brand that came out embracing all shapes and sizes. You can now check them out at their flagship store and come to know more details. And they have also made it a place for every single thing under one roof. Thank you so very much, Double XL.
I just say it.
Danu on Fire, powered by
I just say it.
Welcome to Danu on Fire right here on Hi TV, your luxury channel. Today we're checking out PST and it's down Park Street. You need to come check it out. Now I'm speaking to Giovanni.
You got that right. Perfect.
I got the accent right.
You got that right. Yeah.
All right, so he's all the way from Hollywood and that's all I know about him. I've been getting bits and pieces, so I thought we should speak to him about all of this and more. Now here's the little fun part. I think your dad was a part of the Elvis band.
He was a part of that era, and some of the members of Elvis's band were played with my father. And my father came to Hollywood during the golden era of Hollywood in the 50s. In fact, over on the wall we'll show an artwork of my father. And yeah, so I kind of followed in his footsteps, but not musically, but other films and stuff like that, and art. And yeah, he was in that same generation. He knew a lot of Elvis's bandmates, and there was that whole clique back in the 50s. And so,
Has he met your dad?
he never met my father, but he inquired to meet my father twice, and both times my father was not able to meet with Elvis, unfortunately, though. And had he known, you know, because at the time Elvis was living in Beverly Hills, and my father was working in Hollywood. But unfortunately, they didn't get to meet, though. But Elvis knew of my father, knew of his music. And my father was like the talk of the town, you know,
Right,
in Hollywood. Yeah, in Hollywood. So
You still have the sideburns going for you though?
Yeah, that's because I used to do Elvis in Las Vegas with a pink Cadillac.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's hard to part with them. I've trimmed them down a little bit though. So.
Did you watch the movie Elvis?
Yes.
Was it, from my point of view, we just don't know what's happening in Hollywood. It's not like we live there.
Yeah.
But was it similar to what you would have heard from your dad?
I think that movie was a little bit too, in some ways it was. In some ways it was. In some ways it was a little bit too Hollywood. I thought the guy did a great job. You know, when it comes to Elvis, nobody can ever step on his shoes. Though it's so hard to perfect Elvis.
But the storyline, was it true?
It was.
Exaggerated?
It was exaggerated, enhanced a bit for
for television value.
Yeah, to fluff it up a bit, though.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing about it. But my father's movie that's being shot next year about my father, called I Am Johnny Stark, we're going to give you raw. We're trying to, raw, the real thing, no filters. And with the Elvis movie, they had to be careful because they were trying to appeal to a younger audience. They didn't want to focus in on some of the things he had going on with him, so they did it on a safe zone.
Right.
But the movie was a PG-13 movie, but Elvis's life was a very R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
The reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just keep some of the scenes behind closed doors.
Yes.
And
always.
what's your father's movie is going to be about?
It's about the life and times of a rock and roll singer. Growing up in the 50s and coming to Hollywood straight out of the military, and how he had to, push hard to make it in the show business. So, and there were a lot of things. There were a lot of. I once asked my dad. I said, "Is it easy to break into show business? Any different now than then?" He said, "Johnny, it's never been easy to break into show business now. And if you wanted to make it to the top, there were consequences or things and favors that you had to do, and kind of couch calls, and unfortunately, that's the way it was in those days.
And these couch calls are called by men or women?
Both. Like all the pretty boys had to go a certain route.
Your dad was a pretty boy?
My dad was a pretty boy, but he didn't.
It
He didn't
sucks
want
to be good looking.
I know it's a rough thing, but
Yeah.
but he basically just he decided the same thing happened with the mob. The mob said, we'll back you, we'll help you. But my father said, listen, I appreciate it, but I want to make it on my own, because once the mob gets you, they own you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Then they all just push you from one couch to the other.
Exactly. He was in movies. He did. He had a very fruitful career.
That's amazing.
the thing.
Somebody once said to me, Johnny, one day you're going to be a big star.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. This is KROL Radio, Hollywood, California. It's a beautiful sunny day out here, and we got a great song for you by a new artist.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to a new, talented artist, Mr. Johnny Stark, with his hit record that just came out a couple days ago. It's called Rockin' Billy.
This is Danny J. We got a new talent coming on stage, and his name is Johnny Stark. He's going to sing his hit record called Rockin' Billy.
This is Big J from KKNV Radio Los Angeles. We got a new, hot record. Song is called Driving Me Out of My Mind by Mr. Johnny Stark.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Johnny Stark.
Somebody once said to me, Johnny, one day you're going to be a big star. Well, that time is now.
One move and you can hear them scream. He's the answer to a teenage dream.
For those who are watching, why don't you tell me your dad's name and some of the movies that he would have
Sure. My father's name was. Am I supposed to look there?
No, just
Okay. Yeah. So my father basically, his name was Johnny Stark, and he only made one movie. It was called Johnny Reb, and it was in 1957. And then he just kind of focused his attention on music, though. My father had moderate success, and basically, I've teamed up with a German director, and we're going through this. Always the hard part is the funding. And so, we're trying to do we're trying to figure out how to structure this thing, though, and whatever. But his music is exceptional, and a lot of people said that when my father was young, his voice sounded like a very young Cliff Richard.
oh,
So he was able to break the ties of sticking to one style of music, though. So it's called I Am Johnny Stark. It's on YouTube, and you can watch it. Yeah.
Now, what brings him to Sri Lanka is what we're going to talk about. If you're wondering what is this art behind us, I'm going to speak about it when we do come back. There's an exhibition happening where you can see his work. It's on for 2 months. We'll speak more when we do come back. To stick around. This is Danu on Fire. Thank you to our friends at Dialog Ch for joining us on Danu on Fire as our sponsors. You're wondering, I like that shirt. Well, fashion does not need to be restricted for those who have the perfect physique. Well, you can find fashion in every shape and size when you do visit the only and the first Sri Lankan brand that came out embracing all shapes and sizes. You can now check them out at their flagship store and come to know more details. And they have also made it a place for every single thing under one roof. Thank you so very much, Dialog Ch. Welcome back to the show. We are speaking about Giovanni and his time here in Sri Lanka. We are checking out PST. Food is amazing. Now I just have to speak a little bit about your art.
Yes.
Your art is it is a mix of photographs, it's a bit of graphics. There's a lot of things going in it.
Right.
What made you do the exhibition here?
Well, since I was here in Sri Lanka, I just thought about maybe kind of introducing my art to this country, though, and I thought maybe it would be something that was a bit different that people might enjoy. About 3 months ago, my art was exhibited at Lionel Wendt, and then at the cafe and showing here. So but I'm a big lover of unique art, art that's not common, and I'm kind of a prolific artist, and that's what I do. And I don't do the traditional. I just do what I feel. You know, art is about expression.
So expression of photography, all of this
Correct.
put together.
Absolutely, it complements everything very well.
You never wanted to like sort of test the waters in Hollywood?
I did when I was younger, though. I used to. I did modeling in LA, and then I basically. I was more interested in behind the scenes, though, and I worked with my father, and but my father wanted me to get into singing professionally, and even though I was trained, I said, "That's not my dream, Dad. That's your dream." And you know, and he lived by that his whole life, though. But I like film more. But I was an Elvis tribute artist for 5 years in Las Vegas with a pink Cadillac, and it was a lot of fun, you know. I mean, I wasn't used to all that attention.
And this exhibition that's happening here,
Yeah.
is there a purpose behind it? Are you doing it to sort of show the culture that you sort of grew up with?
Yeah, I'm introducing American Los Angeles type of art, and also to try to sell some art so that people can also share this art in their homes. I haven't exactly seen this kind of art in Sri Lanka. Maybe I haven't been out a lot, but I just thought since I'm here, just to kind of show people. I love celebrity art. I love Andy Warhol and Jean-Michel Basquiat and all those famous artists, and I love the art world. And if I don't have art and creativity in my life, though, it's like being lifeless, you know. Yeah.
So you have used some very popular faces and also some very popular stills. I was
Yeah,
just talking
that
about
one
it.
just.
Yeah.
Sly is angry.
Yeah. So when you do these, do you like sort of get permission, or do you sort of use? Have you ever used canvas, or it's always just digital?
Okay, for some of the pictures though, like Andy Warhol did with Marilyn and Elvis, that's pictures wrapped around art and color and stuff like that though. So 1 minute I'll do, like for instance, if you do pictures photography though, it automatically goes on to canvas or whatever. And then sometimes I like to do actual physical paintings. It just depends on my mood though. But I like to do both at the same time though. There's some celebrities that I love. I love Audrey Hepburn. I love Marlon Brando, and Elvis is over there and stuff like that.
So you sort of use them in today's context.
Yes, right.
With a bit of modern twist.
Correct. Yeah, and you know, I think that you know, and then some of this is just for display, not for necessarily for sale though. It's more just to let people enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
But anything physical is you know, as you look around, you'll see some
And
stuff.
tell me, what brought you to Sri Lanka? You've been here for 8 months now.
Yeah, 8 months.
And you're going to be here for good.
Yeah, just see how things see how things work out. You know, I came here with my partner, and we're just kind of taking it day by day and enjoying it. Though it's a little hard to adjust. The weather is a tough one, but overall, the people of this country have been very, very friendly and very welcoming. You know, and I like that. And there's so much to see here. And I've been here before, and I've always liked Sri Lankan people since I was growing up in LA. There's a lot of Sri Lankans that live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I've always had a soft spot for Sri Lankan people. Yeah.
And also we love old school music. We still love the whole rock and roll vibe. We love the Abbas. We love all of those.
Yeah, you kind of have that rockabilly look, which is cool. Yeah, it's like, you know, a step back in time, you know. Yeah, that's nice that Sri Lanka kind of mixes the old with the new. It's nice, and that generations kind of pass that on to the younger generation for the appreciation of music. Yeah, that's the thing. But I think essentially though, times are changing, and if we don't teach our family or our children old school values, though, there'll be nothing left anymore. It'll just be kind of something that's in the past, you know. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to dig into this pizza. When we do come back, we're going to speak more. Do stick around. This is Danu. Thank you to our friends at XXL for joining us on Danu on Fire as our sponsors. You're wondering, I like that shirt. Well, you know, fashion does not need to be restricted for those who have the perfect physique. Well, you can find fashion in every shape and size when you do visit the only and the first Sri Lankan brand that came out embracing all shapes and sizes. You can now check them out at their flagship store and come to know more details. And they have also made it a place for every single thing under one roof. Thank you so very much, Dialog. Welcome back to the show. It's our final segment with Giovanni about his art, what brings him to Sri Lanka, and so much more. So I wanted to ask you, this exhibition is in aid of what?
Well, just to get my work out there, exposure, and also to, try to sell some pieces of artwork, You're only a true artist unless you can kind of sell your art, and it's not a hobby any longer. So it's a combination of the art and other, just the gratification knowing that my art is appreciated and that people enjoy it and buy it. It's not for everybody, but just to get my work out there in this country, just to get some exposure. I think it's the most important thing. Money is, you never go into something with the interest of money. It's always the love of the art. And so for me, it's just the exposure of getting some of my artwork out there for people to appreciate it, though, whether they like it or they don't like it. It's just a matter of just getting it out there and getting some exposure.
Amazing. Now, Hollywood is quite embracing the whole brown skin culture. It has now come to a point that every series needs to have someone.
Right.
It sort of works that way.
Right.
How diversified? Oh, is that the correct word? How
That's
much
good.
has it diversified in the last few years?
Well, I think it's definitely more open to all different types of cultures and that type of thing. Hollywood is no longer just, of one particular culture or whatever. It's become more wide open. In the old days, though, in Hollywood, though, people pretended to be another ethnic minority or ethnic group or whatever. Now, Academy Awards are being given to all types of races and religions and whatever. That's the way it should be. Movies aren't just consist of one thing. It's not realistic. The world is realistic when it comes to filmmaking, and that's the thing. And my movies are, I'm more into the science fiction and drama area, though. But growing up in Hollywood, I used to go with my father everywhere as a kid to recording studios. William Shatner was my mother's friend from Star Trek. I used to sit on his lap as a kid, and one of the actors from The Godfather was my babysitter. He played Virgil Salazzo in The Godfather. So I was exposed to that life not by choice, but because
You were just
I
around
was just around it.
And that was your life.
It was my life.
Yeah. Looking at, I'm sure you would have taken the time to sort of see the art and the entertainment scene here in Sri Lanka. And what's your take on that?
I like it. It's very Sri Lankan pride art, which I love. In the sense of they take pride in their culture, and from nature to expressions of the people, and I really appreciate what they do. And I think that they should definitely try to get their work globally. I think it needs to be seen. It's like Sri Lankan art is like a little hidden gem that needs to blossom out and kind of have more exposure to the Western world. Because in America, we love Asian things, South Asian things, Indian things, Tibetan, whatever it is, we love it. So we definitely encourage South Asian countries to get their work out there on an international global market. That's okay.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so very much, Giovanni, for speaking to us about your life and your art. I wish you all the very best while you stay here and settle down in Sri Lanka.
Thank you so much.
And all the best for your movie that you're working as a documentary. Is it going to be a documentary-based film?
My father's movie, I Am Johnny Stark, is going to be a documentary / drama film. We're trying to get, once again, Oscar Isaac, the actor from Dune, to play my father. And then I'm working on a movie that we're trying to shoot next month called Abducted, which is about UFOs and aliens. And so we're trying to get that.
It's going to be shot here?
Yeah, all here.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, there's an area near Sigiri or somewhere where there's a lot of UFO activity, and we're trying to get. We got Chandan Ratnam on board to help with the distribution. So I'm doing a lot of things though. But this is a great opportunity for me to come and talk with you and talk with the audience. Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you so very much for being here. Absolutely loved having you.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
And to wrap things up, thank you so very much for hosting us to this brilliant place. If you want to come and enjoy some great Italian food, this is the place. On that note, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you to our friends at XXL for joining us on Danu on Fire as our sponsors. You're wondering, I like that shirt. Well, fashion does not need to be restricted for those who have the perfect physique. Well, you can find fashion in every shape and size when you do visit the only and the first Sri Lankan brand that came out embracing all shapes and sizes. You can now check them out at their flagship store and come to know more details. And they have also made it a place for every single thing under one roof. Thank you so very much, XXL.
I just say it.
Danu on Fire, powered by